Good Sunday morning, everybody. Father Leo here. Greetings. And we gather on this Sunday morning. And if I check my book, I'll see what Sunday it is. And it is. Yes, the 13th Sunday in Ordinary Time. So the Easter cycle is over. And now we enter into what we call Ordinary Time, which takes us all around to next Advent. Long way away. A lot of beautiful summer to enjoy before that happens. So thinking about this week, I couldn't help but think that that's second reading. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And who is my neighbor? Well, my first neighbor is Mother Earth. First neighbor is Mother Earth. Obviously the first neighbor. And to love her as I love myself now. And that's a big topic for a lot of people who don't love themselves. So a lot of people that would go to church on a Sunday like this would hear that verse and say, well, yeah, but, and there'd be the yes, but that would win the day. So love your neighbor as yourself. Now the second reading we did for the day is from the Pope's encyclical Laudato Si. And it's simply the first two words of the encyclical. And the word encyclical simply means the Pope's letter to the world. And it was on the environment. And of course, he needed to talk about the environment when he published that encyclical. For my own part, I remember in 2019, it was about the 22nd of December. I was driving down the streets at about 5 o'clock in the evening, and the traffic, 2 lanes, moving very smoothly, and I was on the inside lane. No, the outside lane, yeah. I was on the outside lane with my car. Now, the car that I had was one, when I bought it 6 years previously, I had determined it was going to be my last car. It was a good one, and a small one, but it was a good car. So I'm driving along there, everything is well, and suddenly I noticed, my God, there's a van stopped in front of me. Oh, what am I going to do? Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to hit the brakes. Too late. I crashed into the back of the van. So I jumped out, ran to the door, find out how the driver was. And here, when I looked in the window, here she was sitting there, calm as can be, petting her little dog. She apparently didn't even know I'd hit her. So it was kind of weird. She's a wonderful lady. I met her because they took us to the hospital to make sure that we're okay. And a wonderful woman. And but I did run into the back of her. And then, of course, the insurance company, because the airbags went off, they don't fix them, especially an old car. And mine was 6 years old, so I had to buy a new one. So with the insurance company check in my pocket, I headed out to the car market. Now, I'd been involved, like reading Laudato Si, studied it extensively, agreed with it, climate warming, pollution, and all the rest of it. But somehow, I really thought I should buy an electric guitar. So here I am caught between a rock and a hard pile. Do I buy a fossil fuel car with gasoline, or do I buy an electric car? Well, I didn't know which to do. I knew I should buy an electric car. That since I'm involved in the environment with people and talking about the environment with people, it seemed only right that I would buy a car that was electric. So I wrestled back and forth, back and forth. I could think of all kinds of ideas of why I should buy an electric car, all the reasons that it would be too inconvenient. And I've always felt about that, felt guilty, because I bought a car that still uses gas, fossil fuel, which really does, in fact, pollute the air. And I really felt that this week. I was driving along Lansdowne Street, and I wonder why I was having so much trouble breathing. Like the air was anything but pure. You could almost taste it. And then I noticed, again, two lines of car, one beside the other, all traveling in the same direction, and the amount of fumes from those cars. And the air was hard to breathe, and when you did breathe it, you felt it. And it hit me again, the amount of pollution and how the contributing to climate warming, not good for the environment. It hit me again, and why I should have bought an electric car. So that's been a part of what I've had to do. And now at 90, I think I'm too old to buy a car now. So I doubt very much that I will ever buy an electric car. However, I think you should buy one. Since I can't do what I say, not what I do. But, I do feel badly that I should have bought an electric car. I really should have. Now, the other side of the coin, which I want to talk about, is the encyclical that the Pope sent out. And it was really a good one, Laudato Si. And I read it extensively. And he talks there about, again, starting with the Industrial Revolution, how humankind has misused creation. In so many ways, humankind has polluted the air, the water, the land, polluted it. And the connection between that and all of the life forms here on planet Earth. So it's not as if it's an isolated pollution, but rather it's a pollution which not only contaminates Mother Nature, but also that pollutes animals. It affects greenery, and certainly negatively affects human beings. So this is what he's talking about. And he points out how this is our home. Now, it's not our permanent home. It's a temporary home. We're passing through. But it is our home while we're here. And he's trying to use that symbolism of home. How we are very careful of our home. We keep it renovated. We repair anything that falls apart. If the roof goes on it, we put on a new roof. We clean it daily. So we really are careful of our home. And he's trying to say, well, why aren't you as careful of the earth? Since that is your home, temporary home, yes, but it's your home while you're here. So that reading we do in Mass today from Laudato Si is really meant to stir us up, perhaps to go and read the encyclical if we haven't, and then to do what we can to be a part of the movement to make a difference. To make a difference. We notice that the federal government has extended the ban on plastics, which goes to an effect very soon. And that's good, because plastics, as you know, don't disintegrate, and they stay as plastics for a long time. a lot of plastics have got dumped in the ocean and have really choked the ocean in many ways. So plastics are a curse on the world, on the earth. And so they do well to start banning those plastics. And for ourselves, you know, as usual, he talks about consumerism, buying things we don't really need, things we want or think we want. And I found when I left my home, there was so much stuff I left behind because I didn't need it, I didn't want it. It had played a role, temporary role, and it's time to let it go. So there is consumerism. And there's also a choice of what we buy. Like I say, I didn't have the courage to buy an electric car. Well, you know, all other things being equal, I have to say, yeah, buy an electric car. Apparently the day is going to come, that's all you will be able to buy. Your grandchildren, if they bother buying a car, will probably have no choice but to buy an electric car. And that's certainly going to cut down on pollution in a major way. So there's so many different ways. And the other thing that he really advocates, and you heard that in the reading this morning, is actually prayer and meditation. So that we really do sort out where our priorities live. What are my priorities? And have I really sort of given an audit, just kind of an acquaintance, oh yeah, right, pollution's a bad thing, and they should do something about it. Who are they? The government? Yeah. Corporations? Yeah. Individual people? Yes. Faith communities? Yes. Nobody is excused. Nobody is excused. And that's why we really focus on it today. 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was what they called Earth Day, where right across Canada, there was drawing people's attention to the earth and the need to love and respect the earth. And like I say, in today's gospel, when it says, love your neighbor, our first neighbor, the neighbor who really loves us unconditionally, the neighbor who brings us into life, the neighbor who sustains our life, the neighbor who feeds us, Mother Earth. Mother Earth. And so when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, today we're saying, yes, yes. I've got to start loving my mother, Mother Earth, and treating Mother Earth the way I would treat my earthly mother. Of course, if I don't treat my earthly mother very well, then that doesn't hold up. We need to treat our earthly mother very well as well, with love and respect. Bring the same love and respect to Mother Earth. And I think that's kind of what we're driving at when we celebrate the Eucharist this weekend. God bless.